There's a struggle or there's this longing for things to be different. Hi, it's Stacey Berger here with Mastering Your Mindset as a life and business coach. I am passionate about you living a life that you love. People come to me because they're struggling inside an area of their life. Sometimes it's with their health, it could be with their relationships. A lot of times it's they're stuck in their business or their careers, or it could be their lack of time freedom or their financial freedom. Nevertheless, they're coming to me and there's a struggle or there's this longing for things to be different. And as we start to uncover what it is that they're struggling with, and they begin to understand that it's their thoughts and it's their beliefs that create their reality, a very powerful thing and a very powerful shift occurs. When we realize that we're responsible for our results, we're responsible for our successes, it's a very empowering position to take. When we're working together, what we're doing is we're uncovering the thinking that has created the results so we can shift that thinking into a more expansive mindset. Well, a great example of this was when I started to work with Carla. And Carla was working in her business and she was working these long days, 6 or 7 days a week, and she did not see a way off that hamster wheel. As a result of working in her business so much, her relationships were suffering. Her health was suffering. Even as a personal trainer, she was struggling with her health. And we started to work on her vision and what would you love? And what Carla would love is more time freedom to build those relationships, to have for herself, so she's not always working in the business. And I asked her, I said, okay, well, what hours would you like to work with? And she was so firm with me. She said, well, people only want to train and work out early mornings, in the evenings, and the weekends. So I have to work those hours. And through the work that we were doing, I started to challenge that belief. Well, do you believe that it's possible that there's people that would want to work out with you and train with you during the day? No, absolutely not. This is the way it is in my industry. We are seeing the world through a certain lens. We have this perspective about how the world works and how we fit into that world and what those conditions mean and what those circumstances mean. And it's so easy to get stuck in a way of thinking and we don't even realize we're stuck. So soon after we started to work together, Carla started to entertain this idea. Well, what if? What if I could work Monday to Friday and I could work these hours? What would that look like and what would that feel like? And she started to put it on. And through the work that we did together, within a very short period of time, Carla no longer works evenings and she no longer works weekends, and she's earning more money than she ever has in her business as she redefined what that meant. But it all first started here. It started here, looking at the thinking, looking at the results, starting to shift that into a new perspective. What I see a lot is people will come to me and say, okay, well then I just got to go uncover all these belief systems so I can fix them so that I can experience a new result. And I like to look at that a little bit differently, is we don't have to go uncover them. We don't have to go looking for them and fix them, because what happens when you start to work towards a goal, work towards a vision, they'll start to show themselves to you. And as you're growing, as you're expanding, you'll start to bump up against those thinking, those conditions, those mindsets that are holding you back. And when you have the support of somebody around you to help identify, oh, that might be holding you back, it's much easier to shift. So don't think you have to go looking for all those limiting beliefs. Start working on your vision. Start moving towards the vision and just notice the thoughts that start to come up, why you can't do it, why it won't work. And they'll raise to the surface. And in those moments is when we get to start to challenge them. Now, what would you love? What would you love for your life? Where's the biggest area, the biggest longing, the biggest discontent? And start to look at, how could I see this differently? How could I see this differently? Think about this differently. Take some different actions on this and therefore produce a different result. If you would love some support in really looking at what's holding you back, I've been doing this for a number of years now, and within a few moments speaking to somebody, I can usually identify, here's the block, here's what needs to shift in order for you to move forward. If you're interested in having that conversation, go ahead and schedule a complimentary strategy session with myself, and we'll really look at where you are, where you want to go, and the thinking that's going to be required to get you there. If this served you, make sure you like the video, subscribe to our channel, and here is to your success.